marketing meeting for the month of March. Our idea with this monthly marketing meeting is, hopefully you're putting this into your calendar because for advisors to be successful, you don't need to spend a lot of time on your marketing, but you do need to be consistent about it. In fact, Devin and I have been kicking around, you could probably spend less than 4 hours probably spend about 4 hours a week and be super successful. You can probably spend 4 hours a month and be successful if you follow everything that we tell you to do. So anyway, this is one of the reasons we get together each month is to kind of talk broadly about marketing topics that could be of interest to any advisor out there. And then the second part of our monthly marketing meeting, we narrow our focus to talk about the marketing events that we have, activities that we have lined up for the coming month for members who are master members at Horse's Mouth and or people who are part of Advisor Client. Those are two different programs. You have different access there, but we do pull together a monthly, kind of turnkey marketing plan. And so that's what this is all about. And in the third part, we're going to answer some marketing questions as well. I'm here with Devin Kropp, Associate Editor at Horse's Mouth. Devin runs Advisor Client, which is our turnkey marketing program, among many other things that she does for us. Devin, thanks for being here. So we're talking today about your client event strategy. We talk about client events. We talk about educational events all the time, which we tend to refer to as, being a financial educator, because we really think the best way to build your business is to go out into your community and educate the community on the variety of critical financial planning topics that they face. Now, most of you have a target market that would be described as pre-retiree or retiree. And those financial education topics, they range from things like IRA planning, tax planning in retirement, Social Security, Medicare, long-term care planning, estate planning, those kinds of things. So those are, if you're putting on educational events as a prospecting endeavor, you may put them on for your clients and ask them to invite friends and family and colleagues. It becomes kind of a prospecting event. Sometimes you may be going out in your community explicitly as a prospecting event, and you're inviting people to these educational events who are prospects only. And so that's one thing, but we're not talking about that today, Devin, right? We're talking about, sometimes you call it a client appreciation event. We're talking about the things that you do during the course of the year to deepen your connections with your existing clients, deepen them, build on that loyalty, get a chance to have fun with them, make social connections. So you're not just up there talking about, IRMA surcharges when people sign up for Medicare at 65 or some other, painful topic. So that's what we're going to start off with part one of today's event. Devin, what are your thoughts? What's going on with the client events these days?
Right. So exactly what you said, right? We want to focus on something like social and fun here for our clients to attend, to show our appreciation, to get to know clients and let them get to know you on a more personal level. And also it's an opportunity for some referral marketing as well, right? There are client events. A lot of advisors will tell their clients to invite a friend to come along so they can get, that introduction as well. But the idea here is we're not educating, we're not selling our services. You're simply there to enjoy a fun event with all of your clients, your top clients. There are many different avenues that you can kind of take here, and we can kind of discuss the different options and choices that you would make in the planning steps of this. But these are those fun events, the barbecue at the office, the minor league baseball game, the brewery tour, things like that, where you're giving your clients this fun experience and hosting it for them to come and enjoy.
Right. Good. So, and by the way, for any of you who are on the line live right now, if you could do us a favor and just enter into the chat box what's the most successful client appreciation event you've ever been associated with, whether you were hosting it or whether you were with a firm that was hosting it, whatever. Just curious to see if anybody has something. Well, we're interested to see what was successful in your mind. We're going to be doing a big survey on this in the coming weeks. In fact, we're going to dedicate the rest of this year to updating one of our more popular programs back from the mid 2000s, which was called Secrets of Successful Client Events, which was a compendium of all sorts of events that people do. So that's why we're interested in coming back and refreshing that and seeing what's new, what's changed, and that sort of thing. So if you have any client events that you feel that have been super successful, please go ahead and share those with us. But Devin, of course, we're interviewing advisors all the time. We do a feature called What's Working Now. Whenever we hear an advisor doing something particularly new, unusual, or interesting, sometimes that relates to client events. So what are some of the, give us a rundown of some What's Working Nows we've done in the past that have focused on client events that we thought were good, interesting ideas.
Right. We've done so many on client events. There's so many great ideas if you go through the library of our What's Working Now articles on the site. We've probably done at least 25 on just client events, if not more. But some that stand out to me when I sat down to think about client events, ones that kind of came to my memory without me even having to look through that library myself. John Halterman does a big retirement party. So for any of his clients that are retiring that year, he throws one big party for all of them. And he allows them to invite family, friends. He has done, I don't know if John's on this call. I don't think he is. But he has basically redesigned his home to be this kind of client event party central. And so he has this big party, has like a backdrop where, all the clients can take pictures with sashes that say retirement. And it's this big retirement party for, I think last year he had like 7 clients who were retiring. They all came, they invited friends and family. So not only was he, honoring these clients of his and celebrating them, but he was getting to know, their friends and family who they wanted to invite to come to this party. So it was, a really great referral source for him too, but it just looked like a great time. I mean, he shared pictures with us. There are some in the article. I think Doug just threw it there in the chat. You can scroll through it, but I mean, there's games and special outfits that people are wearing. And it was, really, really fun. And of course, like I said, he has kind of like a whole house built for this. You don't have to do that to do something like this. You could even go to a nice restaurant and, rent out kind of a room or a space there. There are many options you can do that doesn't require building a home for this. But I think the idea of kind of honoring those special clients, it's a way to kind of keep it small, right? You're not having to invite all your clients to it. You can still keep it small enough where you get to speak to everyone and speak to their guests is a really great idea.
Yeah. No, I like that one too. And there is a different version of that I also think is very good. Catherine Vesnes introduced us to this idea quite a while ago. She's used this successfully in her practice. What she'll do is a client is retiring and she'll say to the client, hey, I'd like to throw a little retirement dinner or retirement luncheon for you. 6, 8, 10 people, whatever. I want you to invite, your friends, my husband and I will be there and, you and your wife and, invite 6 or 8 other people and we'll have a, private room at, Cafe Luna downtown and it'll be a good time. And she does that. And then she also gives, uses it as an opportunity to toast the client. She's done that. She's done it successfully. Why? Because so the client says, yeah, thanks. That'd be nice. Someone's got to throw a little, a little retirement party for me, a little retirement dinner. I think that's great. And yes, I'll invite my friends there's no business there at all, except for your presence and your showing your love and connection and loyalty to that particular client. And as you can imagine, it just leads to, referrals in business. So you can do it on the macro scale, like John Halterman, who, by the way, Devin, I sort of wonder, did John not get a chance to join a fraternity in college or something? Because he went ahead and built. I've seen the pictures of this thing. I mean, he built
a
this
frat
party.
house.
He's built this party house, and so now he has his own frat
Nicer
house.
than any frat house I've seen, but
yeah. Well, that's for sure. That's for sure. But we'll have to get to the bottom of what compelled them to do that. But it's quite the house, I have to say. So yeah, okay, that's one. The retirement dinner, very good. What else?
Another one that I thought of, and this is interesting because Andre Hall held this event, and he actually, I forgot until I went back and read it, that he actually held this virtually during the height of COVID. But you could definitely do this in person, and I think it would be really interesting too. He had a lot of barbecue fan clients, so he had a pitmaster, and they did this on Zoom, and he kind of like taught everyone how to barbecue and do all of that, and people followed along. It was like kind of a live cooking show on Zoom that his clients could attend and follow along with, and they all absolutely loved it. And it resonated with me, where I again forgot that he had done it virtually, but I think that you could definitely do something like that in person, have kind of a subject matter expert like that come in and do some sort of presentation. Another interview we did a few years ago, similarly, she had a master gardener come in for her clients. All her clients really love gardening. They went to a country club. She had a master gardener come do this whole presentation, and her clients absolutely loved it. So if there's, a special interest that a lot of your clients hold, try to lean into that and think about, can I have someone who's an expert in this field come in and teach us all a little something?
Yeah. I love the gardening thing because, people may or may not know it, but gardening is the number one hobby in the United States. So just tons and tons of people have, a range of levels of interest around gardening. And you mentioned the master gardener. That master gardeners are programs that are normally associated with the agricultural extension program at the state university in your state. I think they're affiliated with other organizations as well. But my point is that there are master gardeners in your community. And to be a master gardener, they're required to do public service. So there is a field of people out there who will, happily come in and inexpensively, if not for free, I think, put on an event for you. So gardening is another one. Let's just take a look at a couple comments we've had here. Keith says he hosts a client appreciation brunch at a country club. Keith, I don't know if that's your own country club or it's just a country club, but either way, for any of you who have been involved with country clubs, you have sometimes there's a certain amount of money you need to spend each year at the country club. And, if you and your family aren't there every Friday night or whatever, putting on one or two client events at the club can help you bring down your, spend down your balance, so to speak. So I think that is a good idea. Lawrence says we host luncheons and dinners to celebrate the retirement of clients and invite their friends and family. Worked great and helps with the next generation intros too. That is a good one, the next generation intros for sure. But Devin, you just mentioned something that, as I've been reviewing this very large survey that we did back in 2010, we weren't even discussing virtual client events at all. And then the pandemic came along, and I have to say, my advisor put on a very nice wine tasting, including having one or two bottles of wine shipped to us. And the Napa Valley winemaker was on the Zoom, and they were prepared to do this. And they had some great video footage where they showed us the vineyard, and then the winemaker came on and answered questions. And this was in maybe within the first 6 months of the pandemic. And I have to say that everybody who was on that call seemed very happy to have the opportunity to kind of connect with our advisor and with other people and, share a little wine. So if anybody's done any virtual events as well, when we do our surveys and our update going forward, we're going to be, keying in on some of the virtual events as well, because I do think that some people, now the pandemic's basically over, I think some people, I know people are still doing webinars for sure. I don't know if they're going to be doing virtual events, but in some ways it's a lot easier to do a virtual event than get in a car and drive somewhere in the dark and all that sort of stuff. But anyway, what else, Devin? What's working now client event ideas do we have?
I was actually going to talk about a wine tasting too. So,
Okay.
that obviously is kind of a tried and true thing, virtual or in person. And another thing I'll add about the virtual option too is, especially if, you have clients who live in different places throughout the year, or, clients who aren't in your general area, having some sort of virtual option, I think is a great way to connect with those people too and make them feel included. And so, if you're doing one or two or three events throughout the year, maybe choosing one that can be more virtual is a good option if you're someone who has a good number of clients who, winter somewhere else, or, are now spread out across the country, they're
Right.
retired and all like that. So having an option for them to attend and still feel recognized, I think is a nice thing to do. But some other things we've heard from advisors, one advisor we've worked with, he does like a little boat cruise every summer. And
Yeah, I
there's
think
only a
he's in
certain
Memphis.
number
Yeah,
of
that guy's
spots
in Memphis.
available, and people like rush for it every year.
Yeah,
They wait for that date to be announced, and they want to get on that boat. Um,
paddle
but
boat.
yeah, leaning into kind of some local things that you might have. If you have museums in your area, sometimes they'll do tours like after hours, where you can invite your
Yeah.
clients to come and get that kind of special tour for a special exhibit that might be on display, or learn from the experts at the museum about the art that's being shared there. I know one advisor that was at one of our recent workshops did that around Christmas time. They had like a night at the museum, and it was closed for everyone but his clients. And they actually did like a little toy drive that was connected with that. So kind of, doing some good for the community as well, as giving clients this kind of cool exclusive experience of being in the museum, while it's empty.
Yeah. Yeah. I attended a wedding recently at an aquarium, and apparently it didn't cost them that much either. It was on a weeknight, when the aquarium isn't normally open. It was like a Friday night, but it was a great wedding. It was a lot of fun to have full access to the aquarium. So yeah, there's a lot of things you can do there. All right. What else, Devin?
Some other ideas, thinking about 2023, like what kind of client events, we can start planning now. We're looking at, the summer, we're here in March. So obviously we've heard from many advisors, I'm sure some of you on this call have done, either a barbecue at the office or a block party. I think that's a great option because it's family friendly, right? We were just talking about getting that intro to the next generation. So doing something where, kids and the grandchildren can come, so you can, connect with the adult children, and make that connection in a fun way is a great option. So tons of advisors we've interviewed have done that kind of idea where either, they have near their office, they have enough space to do that barbecue, or they even do it on their street and have a block party, have a barbecue, invite everyone over. And that's great. It can be casual, right? People can come and go. They'll have games going on, little, bounce houses for the grandkids that show up, ice cream truck, things like that, to make it fun and family friendly, and just something, to do during those summer months. So that's a great option. Another thing that could be fun is, if you have a local, pub or bar that does trivia normally, you can see if you can kind of, rent out a night where you can do trivia for your clients, invite them to come, invite their friends, they have a little team, some friendly competition. Again, just a fun social event that's on you for them to kind of get out of the house and do something different.
Yeah, I'm thinking back to 2009, 2010, when we did Secrets of Successful Client Events. The craft brew scene was, minuscule compared to what it is now. And there are all these craft breweries all over the country. And they're always seem very happy to have special events and let people come in, just have it, get the exposure at their place and everything. But I'm also reminded of a kind of a different approach. In the spring of 2009, late spring into early summer, we started promoting this idea that, okay, the markets crashed in 2008, and then they came back, and, the lows were reached in March of 2009, and people were really shell shocked. Now, the markets have been down a lot in the last year as well, but I'm not sure people are quite shell shocked in the same way. Regardless, the point that we were making in the spring of 2009 is get out there, and have small, intimate dinners with your best clients. So it'd be you, the advisor, your partner or spouse, whatever, and 2 or 3 other couples. It's still in the springtime. And we, at that point, we're just like, look, everybody was shell shocked. It's like, this is a chance to, reconnect with your best clients. It's before the summer gets going. So it's a great opportunity to just, talk about, what are your plans for the summer? What's going on? And just a way to sort of reconnect with people and on a personal level in a deeper way. And, that's very low overhead there as well. And again, whether you talk business or not, it's kind of, maybe if it comes up organically, you do. Now, sometimes people put on these events and they do talk a little bit of business. Like sometimes somebody puts on a wine event and they have a little rap about the value of wine over, they'll look at a Bordeaux, a 1962, top tier Bordeaux, and they'll show, how this 62 Bordeaux is, how much it was worth in 72, 82, and 92, and start to draw parallels about being in the market for a long time. So there are ways to, bring a little bit of business into it as well if you want. So I think we could be in a roughly similar period where it might be a good idea for advisors to just start getting out there and having, some small intimate dinners at the local Italian restaurant with some of your best clients, just to, the pandemic's over. I think everybody's fine with going into restaurants now. So get back out there and start connecting. All right. What else, Devin? Are we ready to move on to part 2?
Yeah, I think we are. Unless anyone, of course, feel free to share any kind of plans you have for 2023 in the chat. We'd love to hear about those, but we can move on. All
right. So advisor client and master members specific marketing activities. What do we got for the month of March? Basically, everybody, what we do is we talk about what's teed up for you right now in the month we're working in. And then we're also looking ahead to the upcoming month so that the planning is in motion. So, okay, Devin, what do we got?
Right. So we are in March right now. And if you were on last month's call, you heard us announce that we have a new presentation about Secure Act 2.0 that is now available for you to go ahead and do. So that just want to reiterate that is there. And, now is a great time to be talking about that. But in addition, our theme for March is taxes, right? We got tax filing day coming up next month in April. So we have a reprint about 5 tax gotchas in retirement. So kind of 5 things that pre-retirees or retirees need to think about before or during retirement that they may not know about. That's a really eye-opening piece, I think, for a lot of people who are in retirement or planning their retirement and are unaware of the tax changes that they're going to face in this new phase of life.
Yeah.
And then, of course, for our master members, we have our how tax planning changes through 4 stages of retirement, kind of piggybacking on what I just said there, are these different rule changes and laws that occur in retirement around taxes. And most people are not aware that their tax status is going to change that drastically as it does. And they don't know about these penalties. They don't know about these planning strategies. And you being able to get out there and prospect and educate your community about it is really, really important to people because they are unprepared for these changes going into retirement.
Yeah. And just to go back to the Secure Act for a second, I mean, the public doesn't know about the Secure Act. I mean, that Secure Act 1.0, Secure Act 2.0, it's inside baseball, but we all know what it means. But what will get their attention, what people will respond to is the new retirement rules, because that's what they are, right? They're new retirement rules. There's a ton of stuff in there between 1.0 and 2.0. It's all important. We hit the highlights in our new presentation. There are additional handouts that you can use. There's information you can send to clients. And so it's been in the news. It's going to continue to be in the news. This is called news jacking, where you're looking for the opportunity to draft off of a bigger news event for your own educational and marketing purposes. Okay. So I do just highly recommend that folks get out there and, get up to speed on the IRA, the new IRA rules, the new retirement rules. It's a great, it's good for yourself. You need to know it anyway. And there's so many things and so many new things that are out there some of them are really big and some of them are medium size but they're important, and there are people in your business, clients that you have, that these rules are going to impact. So it's always good for you to get out there. You're not really teaching them the ins and outs of these specific things. You're just showing off you're showing off that you have a knowledgeable and considered opinion about what is happening relating to IRA rules and tax planning and retirement. So you really have both things going on there. So that's good for the month of March. And looking ahead to April, Devin, what's going on with April?
So our theme for April is Social Security, and that is because it actually is National Social Security Month. And so we try to kind of build our monthly themes based on things that are happening kind of in the general calendar, because again, as you were saying, media outlet is going to be talking about it. And so if you can chime in with some useful information to your clients and prospects, that's huge. So in April, we have our reprint, Social Security, the important questions. This kind of goes through some common like FAQ that people have about Social Security before they claim or even after they claim. And so if you have, that part of your list who are pre-retiree who have not, claimed their Social Security yet, this is a great piece to be sending out as they start to think about when and how they want to claim their benefit when the time comes. So that's a great piece. And I will also add, we have a huge library of Social Security reprints available. And I would recommend doing, some sort of drip campaign during the month of April, meaning, you choose 4 different reprints and send one a week and kind of build this mini marketing campaign around it, especially if you work with that pre-retiree market who are thinking about this next decision they're going to have to make around Social Security. And of course, we also have, for our master members, the Social Security presentations that are available to you. You can give those to clients and prospects. We also have one for CPAs if you want to, do that and give CPE credit as well. Maybe you don't want to do that in April because they're a little busy and then finally relaxing, but it's something to think about for the summer months if you do want to connect with CPAs, planning an event for that. And then beyond Social Security, we have our regular quarterly postcards. So for spring, that goes out in April, and it just goes through, the key deadlines people need to know for the upcoming months. So it has all the financial dates that they need to know about, but then it also has some of those kind of fun holidays included as well, like, National Ice Cream Day and things like that. So it's informative, but also kind of a fun piece that you can share with clients.
Right. And just going back to both client events for a second, any of you out there who are looking to cultivate your relationship with accountants and CPAs in your area, I've always been impressed when I first got into this business in 1999. I met an advisor who would throw a bit of a beer bust and barbecue for CPAs and accountants, like the weekend after Memorial Day weekend, like in June, when most of the they're totally over it because they're harried through April in the spring, and so he hosts this event for the tax accountants of the world in his region, barbecue, some beer, and it really helped. People came to it's a chance for these tax accountants to unwind, and he threw it every year, and he had some, as you can imagine, had some great relationships with CPAs and accountants in his region. And the other thing about April and Social Security, I just want to continue to say, as I always do, Social Security continues to be, if you're building your business, this continues to be like the gateway topic that brings prospects to your office, vis-a-vis you putting on educational presentations on Social Security. The tail end of the baby boom, turns out that we're almost 12,000 baby boomers per day. And so the size of the market right now is more than 20% larger than it was when this whole thing kicked off back in 2008 and the first baby boomer turned 62. Now we're coming up on the tail end of the baby boomers, those born 57, 58, 59, up to 62. That is a huge bunch. And it was like more than 11,000 per day being born. So the point is, these folks are like everybody else, getting ready for retirement. They're looking around, they're looking for that advisor in retirement. And so it just continues to be a great topic. So I can't emphasize it enough. We talk about it all the time, but I continue to talk about it because, what's going to happen after all this? We have the leading edge Gen Xers coming along. Leading edge, meaning they're the oldest Gen Xers. They're 55, 56, 57 now, I think. And anybody who's ever, looked at the demographics of who you try and target for retirement or pre-retirement related events, usually it's like 55 up to 70. So the Gen Xers are starting to come in to this exclusive area that had been mostly boomers. We'll be changing our marketing and dropping the word of boomers going forward pretty soon. But anyway, a great opportunity continued to be for advisors to build business around Social Security. I can't recommend it enough. Okay, Devin, part 3, member questions. What do we got?
Okay, our first question was,